Between 6th and 10th August 2011, thousands of people took to the streets in several London boroughs and in cities and towns across England. The resulting chaos generated looting, arson and mass deployment of the police. Authorities and mass media referred to these events as riots, while sympathisers described them as protest, insurrection and revolution. Disturbances began on the 6th of August after a protest in Tottenham, which followed the death of Mark Duggan, a local who was shot dead by the police on August 4, 2011. Several violent clashes with the police, along with the destruction of police vehicles, magistrates' court, a double-decker bus, many civilian homes and businesses, began gaining attention from the media. Overnight, looting took place in Tottenham Hale Retail Park. From the 8th to the 10th of August, other cities in England, including Birmingham, Bristol, Liverpool and Manchester, along with several towns, saw what was described as copycat violence. More than 90% of the cases being sentenced at Crown Court resulted in jail terms, compared to an average rate of 46% for custodial sentences. Data previously released by the Ministry of Justice revealed that 44% of rioters sentenced at magistrates' courts were sent to prison, almost 4 times the typical custody rate of 12.3%. The courts handed down prison sentences to convicted rioters that were on average 25% longer than normal. A few examples include a mother of 2 who was asleep when the Manchester riots were raging, but was sent down for 6 months because she accepted a pair of looted shorts from a friend. 18-year-old Ahmed Paleh was given a 33-month prison term for posting Facebook messages. This was equal to the sentence given to Dwayne Spence, who led a gang of 30 or 40 youths on a rampage through Wolverhampton town centre and hurled a 3-foot plank of wood at a police car. Anderton Fernandez, aged 22, was sentenced to 16 months for stealing ice cream, and 19-year-old Fabrice Bembolita turned himself into police after identifying himself from a published photo and was sentenced to 32 months in prison for burglary. The shortest prison sentence issued to a riot-related offender in Crown Court went to Stephen Freer, aged 20, who received 6 weeks for possession of an offensive weapon. The average sentence for the cases was 14.7 months. Only 2 out of every 72 completed Crown Court case resulted in non-custodial sentences. Many have argued that the sentencing was too severe, whereas others have said it was fair and exactly what the justice system needed. We asked the general public from the University of Central Lancashire on their thoughts and experiences of the 2011 riots and whether the rioters were sentenced fairly in their opinions.
My name's Alex Munnery. I'm happy to be part of this video and for it to be used in whatever it's being used in. So I'm from Surrey, which is just south of London, so my area was actually affected by the riots. My local town, Res Hill, we had patrols from the police wanting to sort of stop any further riots happening in the area. I also I live right next to Coulton, which was really badly affected. One of my local music shops was burnt down as a result. So my understanding of it was that the riots escalated as a result of a dispute about I think a shooting, and people seem to jump on the bandwagon and just start rioting and looting for the sake of it. And as a result, I feel as though the police did clamp down fairly hard, but I think with good reason, because they want to show people that it's not okay to just riot like that in the future. I do feel as though it's a bit of a bad image for our generation, but I think people have got the message that the police aren't going to be happy with it.
Okay, my name is Callie Coltis, and I consent to be on this video. My opinions of giving the sentencing, I would say that it's probably a bit ridiculous. They're going a bit over the top. If there was something that had happened similar and it hadn't have been in this situation, then this wouldn't have happened. They wouldn't have been given such severe sentences. So I don't really understand why they are going so over the board. If it's supposed to be a deterrent, then why aren't they doing this on normal days as well?
Cool. My name is Timmy. I'm a third-year law student, and I am happy to be taking part in a study that's pretty much getting my opinion on the recent riot that took place in Manchester in 2011. Well, so basically, I'm going to be talking about my views about the whole thing, and I think, like, to start with, it's the sentencing in a whole. It's not really reflective on the actual crime that was committed, because a lot of the people that were caught, they were teenagers, they were young kids. In the most extreme case, an 11-year-old was caught trying to rob vodka. And obviously, he couldn't get sentenced to prison for that. So the parents had to take the fine for that one. And that's not really exactly representative of the crime that he committed. So it's not really fair on the parents to put the judgment on them. The people that actually stole the more serious stuff, they haven't been caught. Like the people that were robbing iPhones and iPads, all that kind of stuff, they haven't been caught. So basically, the whole question is not really, the whole thing is not really saying much about the riot.
My name's Sophie, and I'm fine with this film thing. My thoughts on the riots last year was that the sentencing was slightly harsh, but I think that because of the harsh sentencing, people won't be likely to do it again, and I think that's quite a good thing because...
Hi, my name's Ibrahim. I'm happy to be part of this video. The reason I'm in this video is because one of my friends, Jordan, got sent to prison for something that he did on Facebook, which was, they said that he tried to incite a riot on Facebook, but the riot never actually started. And even though there was no riot, he still got sent down and into prison for 4 years. I think that's really unfair because a lot of people say fake stuff on Facebook. It doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad person. If it leads to something, then obviously that's a different case. But Jordan didn't do anything. He just, talked about the riot. He might have encouraged it a little bit, but it's not something that I think he should be sent down for. And if he is, 4 years is very long. People who steal things and even people who get into fights and stuff like that, GBH, they don't even get 4 years, and I think it's really unfair. I think it's just the government trying to make an example of anyone that they can, and being really unfair to anyone who was even remotely linked to the riots.
Right, my name's Dean and I'm happy to be part of this video about the riots, about sentencing. In my opinion, I think the sentencing was far too harsh. I think I understand why they've done it. It's a bit of a deterrent against other people that think they should participate in the future, and they look back on this and think, oh, he's been sentenced for 6 months for stealing a bottle of water and that kind of thing. But I don't agree on the harshness of the sentences. I think that they should be getting a proper sentence and not taken out of context just because they're in a riot at this particular time.
These were just some of the opinions of the youth in Lancashire. What we must take from this is that there should have been consistency in sentencing for those found guilty of riot-related crimes. It is argued that youths found guilty of a crime should receive similar sentences to those found guilty of the same offence. Otherwise, it is just not justice. Rioters became targeted as unfortunate recipients of a stark warning to society in general that reckless criminal behaviour will not be tolerated. Whatever caused the riots, they were able to grow exceptionally due to a sense that law and order had broken down and criminality would go unpunished. On a deeper thought, lives were lost. Parents had to carry children out of burning homes, leaving a lifetime of possessions behind to be destroyed. Shopkeepers lost everything that they had built up over many years. The consequences of the riots would be felt for years to come. After 4 nights of serious disorder across the country, a nervous calm had returned to most streets, which had been flooded with unprecedented numbers of police. Rioters were later interviewed about why they stopped rioting, and interestingly, most said it was the fear of a heavy response from law enforcement that appears to have been most effective at discouraging people from coming out. However, for others, it was the death of the 3 men on Dudley Road in Winson Green in Birmingham that signalled the end of the disturbances. 21-year-old Harun Jahan, 30-year-old Shazad Ali and 31-year-old Abdul Musawir suffered fatal injuries when they were hit by a car as they protected shops from looters in the early hours of August 10th. Fear the incident would spark revenge attacks and a spiralling disorder proved unfounded after Tariq Jahan, the father of one of those who had died, made a statement from his doorstep calling for calm and an end to the trouble. His moving call for peace had an impact throughout the country and was mentioned by several of the rioters that were later interviewed.
Here's a moral you won't forget. In times of real distress, don't riot. Just buy it. This is a message to all those thieves. They stole my stock and they didn't say